Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NFL action headed to the NFC East. One of the most interesting, crazy, depressing at times, but definitely a crazy division this year, NFC East. And we've got the Cowboys and the Giants going head to head. So 2020 is almost over, thank goodness. And we've got a promo code to celebrate. The code is 2021 for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Cowboys favored -2.5. The total is 45. And then we've got the Cowboys, who are 6-9 on the year, 5-10 against the spread. The Giants are 5-10. And in one point of the season, they look like the favorites to win this division, but a bit of a downward spiral for them. 8-7 against the number. The Cowboys have now won 3 games in a row, both straight up and against the number, winning outright as dogs in 2 of those. We've got Nick from the Insider's Room to break this NFC East matchup down. Nick, a lot of motivation in this one as well, as that division's still wide open. These teams trying to make the playoffs. So what's your take on Cowboys and Giants?
Well, it's a big game, obviously, in a weak division. It's the final week of the season. Washington, it's at 6-9, and it just released quarterback Dwayne Haskins. So both of these teams need a victory here to keep pace and to keep their playoff hopes alive. Each will be hoping, of course, that Washington loses. But the only thing that they can control is their actions on the field of play in this game here. So for this one, Chelsa, I'm really giving it the eye test here. I actually gave out a play on the Cowboys last week on one of the shows for Picks and Parlays. I'm not sure if it was with you or with Ali, but either way, I mentioned that I really liked the way that Andy Dalton was sort of finally figuring out this Cowboys offense and just I don't think that he was even expecting to play this year, and it just took him a while to get up to speed. And I also thought that the Cowboys defense has looked a lot better over the last month or so. And it has, but how couldn't it? It was putting up historically bad numbers in the early going. So the Giants, they were on a 4-game win streak, and that culminated in a 17-12 win over the Seahawks. But since then, New York has lost 3 straight. It's combined for just 26 points in the setbacks. Dallas, on the other hand, over its 3-game win streak, has posted an absurd 108 points. So you know what? Dallas won this game 37-34 at home back on October 11th. It wasn't able to cover the 7.5-point spread then, but it only needs to cover 2.5 here, and I think it's going to be able to do that. I think Dallas has a ton of momentum, and I think, Dalton, he's got a handle on this offense now. So Chelsea, that's my official play here. I like Dallas in the Big Apple this weekend in the final week of the regular season.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I hate the Cowboys, but I love them in this spot. As you mentioned, their offense seems to be firing on all cylinders. Finally, this is a Cowboys offense that a lot of people were expecting, even with Andy Dalton. I know he's a backup, but he's still able to sling it. Last week, he had 377 yards through the air, 22 of 30 when it comes to completions, and actually one of the better fantasy quarterbacks. I know he had an interception, but when it comes to yards, he was one of the better ones in the entire league. And then you've got the Giants, who, when it comes to points, they have not scored over 20 points in any of their last 5 games. So if they can't slow down the pace, it seems like they don't have a chance in winning a game. So I don't know if they can slow down this Cowboys offense. I'm not saying that the Cowboys defense is great either, but if you want me to have faith in a team here, I will take the better offense here in the Cowboys and the team with a little bit more momentum. And also Andy Dalton gets an extra $1 million if the Cowboys make the playoff. Obviously, they need some help from Washington, but he's going to be motivated in this one. And then let's look at the total of 45. Any leanings when it comes to this number?
I did not know that stat or that little fact there about Dalton, so that's extremely interesting. But yeah, if I'm looking at the total, you know what? Yeah, the Giants, they played a whole bunch of unders recently. The Cowboys have played a whole bunch of overs. On this one, I'm leaning to the over again here. Obviously, the Giants, they've been terrible offensively of late. But yeah, it's do or die time. This is it. But fortunately for New York, they are facing this poor Dallas defense. As I mentioned, it's been a lot better of late, but still, let's not get too crazy here. It's still bad. But yeah, I think New York's going to be able to move the sticks. And as we've outlined already, this Dallas offense, and you mentioned, it's just firing on all cylinders right now. So Chelsea, my pick on the total, I'm going to go with the over.
Right. The only thing that scares me about the Cowboys is I'm wondering if the market's finally catching up to them. And the Cowboys are a team that seems like when you think that they're going to do well, they don't. And, when they're expected to not do well, they've been pretty good, as we've noticed in the past few games. But I think that's just me not liking the Cowboys and the fact that they get way too much coverage for being a bad team. But a lot on the line in this one. And as we mentioned, the offense has looked a lot better. And they do have a lot of good pieces, especially on the receiving core. Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, a one-time number one receiver. So I think if you're going to trust somebody, I'd rather trust those guys than Daniel Jones if he's healthy and that Giants offense. But that's going to do it for our NFL talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great insight, as always, from Nick from the Insider's Room. Nick, thanks for joining us.